Good morning. Welcome back. I'm still super pregnant. Whoa. I actually had my weekly baby appointment in like an hour. I'm honestly really glad that I'm up to the weekly appointments because I don't know, it's just like kind of comforting and reassuring to see her more often. I was so convinced like this whole time that she was going to come early, and although it would be great to like not be pregnant for longer than I have to, we have so many things to do next week and I'm a little nervous that she's going to come in the midst of it all, and I don't know, it's just been giving me a lot of stress. I really just need to get through Monday. Today's Thursday. I need to get through Monday. I have a really big call on Monday that I just don't want to have to worry about being like giving birth. I just cannot believe how close we are to the end, or just the fact that like she could come literally today if she wanted. I'm so thirsty and hungry. I'm gonna make a chai really quick. Hold on. There's just something so good about a refreshing chai. It's just equal parts of the Tazo chai concentrate and soy milk. As we get closer to birth and like the fact that labor's starting, I'm just like so hyper aware of every little thing that I feel, and I think I'm just over analyzing literally everything. I think it was a week ago I asked on Instagram what your first labor signs were and when you went into labor and all that jazz, and there were so many responses that were similar in like saying you had those low period like cramps, and I have been having the low really dull period like cramps super off and on for the past handful of days. I really don't think I've lost any sort of mucus plug. I feel like you would notice that, right? I just really hope like my water breaks and it's just an obvious start to the process and it's smooth sailing from there. Anyway, besides like the things I mentioned going on next week, I have been working so hard on my pregnancy workouts and getting my pregnancy workouts together and organized in an intentional way. And I've finished like the programming of everything, and now I'm to the point of like organizing what things need to be filmed and what demos need to be done, because I feel like it's just obviously so much more helpful if you're pregnant to like watch demos of these things from someone who is pregnant. I've also completely given up on doing any sort of freezer meal and prepping like postpartum meals. I still think it would be incredibly helpful, but my freezer space is just, I don't have any. So I can't cook anything because I have nowhere to put it, and it's just kind of frustrating. It's just funny because in the house that we're moving into, there's 2 refrigerators. There's technically 3 refrigerators, but one of them doesn't work. I need to like relax so that my blood pressure isn't high in my appointment today. I'll touch base with you guys after my appointment. Things took a little turn. My blood pressure is always high, but because of how far along I am and the fact that when they retook it, it didn't go down, they just want to get the bigger picture of labs and all that to make sure it's just my stress and just my white coat syndrome. Sucks being an anxious person. Alright, so it's significantly later. I had my appointment with my provider, and I'm just like, I don't know if overwhelmed is the right word. And I don't know if I want to like talk about it in this video, which kind of is a bummer because like I'm just gonna go and relax for the rest of the day and not vlog or anything. What I want to do is like once birth and everything is done, like I want to talk about the whole experience just as a whole, and like what all is going on, but I also want to just be honest about how I'm feeling too, like while I'm feeling it. But just to like do a long story short and give you a very small picture of what happened, the backstory is that I've always had very borderline high blood pressure. It's always been on the higher side since I was a teenager, and ever since I could remember, like any sort of medical appointment I've ever gone to, my blood pressure is always high. And since I move around so much, I've seen so many different physicians and providers. It's like telling the same story over and over and hoping that like they just take your word for it in a way. My office, my providers right now, they're all so awesome, and I've felt listened to, and I'm not worried about it. I mean, obviously something like blood pressure is something extremely important to monitor in pregnancy, outside of pregnancy. It's something that I do monitor and something that I definitely don't forget about. But every time I get it checked outside of an appointment, whether I do it on my own or I go somewhere to get it done really quick, so I know like what my normal is over the years. Because blood pressure is so important to monitor in pregnancy, I obviously understand their concerns. So what they do is they check it when I first get there, and if it's higher than what they're comfortable with, they check it again before I leave, and usually it goes down. So as long as it like goes down, they feel pretty good about that. But this time it stayed higher than what they liked. So she did send me in to like be monitored, and we did like the non-stress test. They monitored my blood pressure for like 3 hours. They ran labs and everything. It's not preeclampsia. So they were just trying to determine if my readings were just like my white coat syndrome, or if there was a true indication of gestational hypertension. But again, me watching the trends and knowing what's normal for me, I'm like, yeah, it's just the white coat syndrome for me, and going into the hospital is just overwhelming, and that makes my blood pressure go up. It just creates like a lot of anxiety and like those anxious feelings. And obviously this provider wanted to err on the side of caution, which I totally understand. That's that. I don't really want to talk about it any more than that. Definitely just like trying to take it all in. And I'm also like kind of mad at myself too, because like this whole time I like didn't want any sort of checks, like pelvic exams, any sort of cervical check, things like that. And just based off of the recommendations they were giving me, I was like, and they offered to do a check, and I still was like, I really don't want to. And when they brought up the recommendation again after giving me some time to think about it, they asked again, like, do you want to be checked? Would that help you make a decision? Like in the moment I was like, you know, if I am dilated at all or show any progress, and maybe that'll help me feel more comfortable with my decision. But on the other hand, if they check and I'm like not super dilated or showing like things are starting to happen, I don't want that to make me feel like I'm making a bad choice if I decide to go against the recommendation either. So kind of mad at myself for going through with it. I don't think it made me feel any better about my decision, but I do know that I feel good with my decision. But because they did the check, like I'm just like super crampy now and uncomfortable. I wish this video could have ended a little more cheery. I had intentions to like go to Target, but yeah, like I said earlier, I just want to chill out and do nothing. That's all I got for you guys today. Kind of went on a little whirlwind with me there. We're another week closer. I don't know if by the time I edit this and have it posted, if things will be happening or what, but we're just another week closer in general, so I can't wait for this to be over, I'm not gonna lie. But I really appreciate you guys, and for anyone who has sent me a message with like words of encouragement or sharing a little bit about your labor story. I really appreciate it, and all the support has been really nice, and I'm just excited to meet her hopefully soon.